Hi guys, and welcome to another video. If you're new here, my name is Tam. If you like this video, make sure to like it, and if you like me, subscribe and follow me on Instagram at plant.strong.tam. So this video, I wanted to make a video about studying from home tips because we're all homebound, or most of us are unless you're a key worker, in which case I send my thanks out to you guys, you're amazing. But I am currently stuck at home studying for uni. I'm currently on Easter break, but I'm still trying to get some studying done so that when I go back I don't mess up my exam. It's like literally the first day I get back, and I have a few projects that I have to be getting done as well over Easter, and once I go back after Easter break it'll be studying for finals. So I've got a lot of work to do, and so I thought I would share my tips on how to study. So my first tip would be to have like a general idea of all the work you need to get done. While this does sound terrifying to like look at all the work you need to do, I write mine down. I write out like a list of lectures that I have to get done, and like all the modules that I have to get done, all the group projects, all the steps in the group projects that I need to do. This is terrifying because sometimes it looks like so much work, but just having that visualization of how much work I have to get done really helps me not forget about anything, not lose track of what I need to do, and to get an idea of like how it fits into a timeline up to that point. I don't personally make revision timetables, but I do kind of work out how much I need to do per day, still have like a quality of life, but also make sure that I'm revising all the content, I'm getting all the projects I need to do done, and I'm on top of my work. So I like write out everything to kind of formulate a plan of attack, but getting an idea of how it's going to fit into my life and when it needs to be done by really helps me to kind of manage my time better. So the next tip is to chunk down your work into manageable pieces, and by this I mean like if you have a project, like chunk it down into like planning what you need to write for it. Write like one paragraph at a time, do like the research for one bit of the project, and then do the research for the other bit of the project, and like tick them off as like separate tasks instead of just being like I need to get this project done and it taking you forever to get the project done because you feel massively overwhelmed because it's this massive project. You never feel like you're getting anywhere with it. So when I did my dissertation, one of my to-do lists was find the papers, and then the next to-do list was read the papers, and the next one was to like highlight the key facts in the papers, and like so on and so forth until like I got to like write the paragraph on this, and then write the paragraph on this paper, do this table, and eventually like after ticking off all these little things I finally ticked off the last little thing and I'd finished my dissertation, but I felt like I was making progress the whole time instead of having this massive project called dissertation that I was never ever getting done. I was actually getting stuff done towards it. And similarly at the moment I do this with my modules. I don't look at them as big modules, I look at them as weeks, and then I look at them as individual lectures, and I try and focus on doing a couple of lectures a day, and knowing that I take off those 2 lectures, then those 2 lectures are done, instead of thinking oh my gosh I have to revise this whole module, and never feeling like I'm finishing the module or the week of content because I'm just not making enough headway in it. So part of this is writing to-do lists. I write like a general list of the module and the lectures, and then every week I write like a week to-do list. So I might have like film 3 videos, do these lectures, and then I write like a daily to-do list as well, where I write what lectures I want to get done in the day, so that I know how I'm structuring my day and what I want to get done in that day. I don't do this as soon as I wake up because I feel like you need some like adjustment time to like feel like a human being. I like try and chill, and then once I've like cleared my mind a little bit and like woken up a bit, I like sit down and I think, right, what do I want to get done today? And I do this really intentionally instead of just like writing stuff down for the sake of like I'm gonna put down like lectures on my to-do list, and then if I don't take them off it's no big deal. I like think like what can I actually get done today, and will I be able to finish this by the end of the day? Nothing is worse than overloading your to-do list. But yeah, be really intentional with your to-do list writing. Don't just write down everything you need to do under the sun, because then you'll feel really overwhelmed and you'll never finish your to-do list. Make it like 5 key items that you want to get done, and maybe like a few smaller ones. So on top of this, I really like to focus on quality over quantity of work. I have the luxury of having a lot of time before my next exam, so I can do this. There are times where I just have to be like, no, I'm gonna spend 10 hours working today, but at the moment I have the luxury of having like enough space in my schedule to like spread out my work, which I love. So I focus on doing 2 lectures a day, and I focus on doing these really, really well, learning the content really thoroughly and making sure that I know it and I'm paying attention as I go through. And this I find way more valuable than saying I'm going to do these 10 lectures today, like charging through the 10 lectures, getting to the end of the day and thinking, but what did I actually learn? Because whenever I've done that in the past, I feel like if I look back at the lectures, I only really remember like 1 or 2 of them and none of the key points. I also find that if I'm trying to do like 10 lectures a day and get like loads of stuff done and like tick off all of my to-do lists I've ever had in my entire life, then I feel like physically really overwhelmed. Not necessarily in the day, I'll get the work done, but after the day I'll feel really overwhelmed and I'll just be completely burnt out, and I'll think, no, I don't want to do that again tomorrow, and then I won't get work done for another week, and then I'll be like, well, I haven't worked for a week, so now I need to like do 10 lectures again today to make up for all the work that I haven't done in the past week. Whereas if I'd just done 2 lectures a day and spread out the work, I would have done work every day, really learnt the content really well, and stressed myself out less and been better overall. So the next thing I find really helpful is having a dedicated workspace. I think you can see it just in like my mirror. I have a dedicated workspace that I try not to put anything else on. I have like my laptop charger, my notebook and some pens and the lamp, and that's it on that desk when I'm working, just to try and keep my physical workspace really clear so that my mental state can be clear as well. And by having a dedicated workspace that I don't do anything else at, then I just feel like as soon as I sit down, I'm in work mode and it's time to work. And then when I get up, it's break mode and it's time to like have fun and relax, but then I sit back down, it's time to work again. And I feel like this dynamic really works for me in my space and in my room and like with my schedule. So the next thing I find really helpful is having a dedicated time slot for working. I haven't been very good at this recently on account of the whole lockdown. I've just kind of like, what day are we on? I don't know, what time is it? But I find this really helpful when it's exam period or like when I have other lectures to do in the day. My old slot that I use during exam periods is from 6 AM to 8 AM as my work slot, or like 5:30 till 8:30 AM before lectures start at 9, to do 3 lectures or 2 lectures and get some work done, and that really puts me in a positive mindset for the day. I generally find working in the morning a lot more motivating. I have way more motivation, and then once I'm done, and the rest of the day is mine to like do what I want with. So having this time slot really helps me just focus my brain and think, this is what you do with this time, you can't do anything else in this time, so you're gonna work. So as well as dedicating time slots to working, I also want everyone ever to dedicate time slots to break. I find that short and effective working to be much easier than long and tedious working, mostly because I lose focus, I lose motivation, I get fed up with the work I'm doing. I'm like, why do I need to know this? But when I take regular breaks, I will just take 5 minutes to like recenter, like sit down, like clear my mind, really like fully relax. Like it might be like going outside, getting a cup of tea, and like unwinding a bit, and then being like, yes, I'm ready to start focusing again and start working. Otherwise it just feels like this massive like sludge that you're doing, and like you're trying to like get through all the work. Whereas if you take a break, you're like, I'm working, and then you're like, oh, it's break time, I'll take a break, and then you're like, I'm ready to go back to work again. If your focus time is 10 minutes, then work for 10 minutes and take a break. I generally work for about 40 minutes and then take like a 10-minute break. So something that I like to do is give myself rewards after I've finished the work that I want to do, after I've finished a section. This can be like after you finish like a certain part of like a lecture, or you finish like a certain paragraph, or you finish reading something, then you like go downstairs, you make yourself a cup of tea, or you like get out your like packet of Maltesers or like vegan alternative and like eat one. I think this also lets your brain like associate work with like getting a reward afterwards, instead of work just being like something that you've got to do and it's like horrible. So another thing I like to do is to really get into the work mindset. I find that sometimes I'm not in the right headspace to do the work, and this really like impacts my focus and like how well I can like concentrate on the work. And this means don't play like Netflix while you're working. I play like lyricless music because I do find it helps me focus. When I study silent, it really doesn't go in as well. I find that I recall the content a lot easier if I've been listening to music for some reason. But also something as simple as getting dressed to do your work and not working in your pajamas, sitting at your desk to like really get in that mindset. I like to meditate before I work, so it really calms my mind and like focuses me, and it increases my focus length as well. Or it can be like getting a cup of coffee before you start your work, as if you're like on your commute to work, going down to the kitchen, getting coffee, going up to where your desk is, sitting at your desk and being like, right, time to work, I've got my coffee, I'm ready. So that leads me on to another thing that I do, and that is really knowing what I want to get from the work that I'm doing. So setting yourself goals. Like, luckily our lectures come with learning objectives, and I find these really good to like target down on what I need to know. But this can be like writing yourself mock exam questions, looking up online mock exam questions, doing some questions before you do the work, and then doing the revision, and then doing the exam questions after you do the revision. And this is called active studying, so it's really like making sure that you got what you wanted out of the studying, instead of just taking all that knowledge and being like, there you go, it's in my brain now. Another thing I would recommend for anyone that's working at home is getting yourself a study buddy. I'm lucky enough to have Saffron living in my house at the moment, who also does veterinary, who also has all the work to do that I have to do, and she studies when I study, so we kind of keep each other accountable. But if you are at home away from all your friends at the moment, maybe like messaging someone and being like, hey, do you want to study today? And messaging them when you start and being like, oh, I'm gonna study this today, what are you gonna study? And then the last thing I want to say is really, please give yourself space right now. If you are really in a mindset where you don't feel like studying will be beneficial to you, please don't study. There are more important things right now than taking off your to-do list and making sure you get this last lecture done. You can get the work done at another time. If you feel like you are not in a space to like take the summer exams for your degree, or you don't feel like you can get your dissertation done, please talk to your uni, and please keep looking after your own mental and physical health. They are the most important things. Studying can come later. On top of this, all these tips are great, but if you're not eating properly and you're not sleeping properly, then nothing's going to go in anyway, because your brain doesn't have any glucose to like convert whatever you're reading into like whatever the brain does, brain stuff. Make sure you're sleeping properly and eating properly as well, because these things will help you learn to your optimum and really make your studying more effective, because a sleep deprived and hungry brain is just not a very functional brain. Okay, thank you guys. I think that's all of my study tips. These are just what worked for me, what I've come up with from like studying at home a lot over the past 4 years of my degree, and throughout A-levels and GCSEs as well. I'm a big fan of studying at home. I never work at a library or the vet school, I hate them. But yeah, I hope these helped you guys out. I hope that everything is okay where you are, and that everyone's staying healthy and happy and is looking after their mental and physical health. If you like this video, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you like me, follow me on Instagram, it's plantstrongtam, and yeah, I hope to see you guys again soon. Bye!